So, based on the caption of my video, I already know what you're thinking. A girl with only male friends? I like to be repetitive because you kind of have to repeat things in order for people to get it. And sometimes, even so, they still don't get it, but later on they will. It's patience. Because some things my grandmother would tell me growing up, my grandmother is long gone, rest her beautiful soul. It's now that as an adult, I reflect on the things she would say. I'm like, makes sense. So it may not make sense at the time, but that is why we're here. We are here to learn and grow and blossom. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about all the things that I've learned as a girl who hangs out with a lot of men. And I know what you're thinking, and you have the right to your thoughts, but it doesn't matter. I'm just gonna read some things. Now, I only have brothers, which I do believe has a lot to do with why I enjoy male company so much. So keep that in mind. I only have brothers. I grew up with three of my brothers and my mom and my uncles. And I've just always preferred hanging out with guys because they're more fun. Have you guys seen videos where guys hang out by themselves? They're always doing stupid shit like climbing trees, hopping in water. It's just so much better. You have a lot more fun, a lot more adventures when you hang out with guys. So I'm actually very grateful that God blessed me with only brothers because I am who I am today and I love myself. So let's just fix the hair. Don't mind the underarm. So I'm gonna read. I just wrote some things. So growing up in Grenada, as you guys know, I was born in Canada, grew up in Grenada, the beautiful island. If you've been there, you know what it is. You know that you want to live there. I mean, let's be real. But it's not just from people that I've known growing up, like my godfather, uncle, my brothers, but also guys that I've dated or just guys as friends. So I was watching a video today with a woman and her husband, and they've had a son together. And this is what sparked me to even create this video in the first place, because sometimes those things happen because you could relatable, right? Like she and her boyfriend, they grew up together, they struggled together, they love each other, they're like best friends, they had a son, he's a great dad to his son, which shows in videos that they post. They're called the Victorious Valentines underscore the underscore Victorious underscore Valentines on Instagram. So shout out to them. So the things that I've learned from men. I remember dating this guy called Paul, and he told me, because people realize things about you that you may not realize. He was like, I'm not very tolerant of people. So sometimes, and I've reflected on what he said, and that's the whole point, right? When people say things about you or to you, it's not for you to get upset and all defensive and stuff. It's for you to like, or you might naturally you get defensive and stuff in the moment. But as long as you're not lying to yourself, that's really what matters. So what happened is, like, I reflected on it and I'm like, you know what, he's actually right, because he told me. And then recently some guy from my job, he said the same thing. I was like talking about something, I said this person's so annoying, and then he was like, you're not very tolerant of people. And correct, I just don't like stress, you know what I mean? Like, we could talk about it, we already talked about it, you don't need to keep saying the same fucking thing, let's just talk about it and move on. So I've worked on that since, working on learning to talk. I am tolerant of people because it's like, if you're talking and like nothing that you're saying I can relate to, I'm just gonna listen to your story. If I can relate, then even better. If I want to ignore you, I'll just ignore you. I just don't like when people are annoying and nagging and bother me, because I've had that happen, like where people would just bother you for no reason. Like, go bother someone else. Okay? And then he also said something about, like, I remember I asked him for something, and then he's like, I've never struggled with him. So basically saying, because I haven't struggled with him, I don't deserve this. So this is just like maybe how some men think. Some men think that, like, if you haven't struggled with them, you don't deserve certain things from them, and that could be based on their circumstances, you know, based on what they've been through. And that's why like I actually really enjoy hanging out with men specifically. I haven't gotten to the women side of it yet, but I will. I feel like my eyebrows look jacked right now, and I'm just not about to be fixing it. So also, whenever I eat sugar, guys, like this is how like bad sugar is for your skin. Like I just noticed instantly how my face just looks so puffy. I feel for the month of June I've eaten so much sugar that like I've just seen the difference in my face as opposed to when I don't eat a lot of sugar. So I can't wait to just not, I'm just not gonna eat sugar anymore. But it's just an observation. Like when you eat a lot of sugar, I've been eating bear cookies. It really, it starts for me, it shows in my face first. That's when I know like I'm gaining weight. Like my double chin is just, sometimes I look at myself and I'm like, you could do better. This is so gross. Like you don't need to look like this because you don't need to be eating all of that fucking sugar. But let's go back to why we're here in the first place. Another thing that guy Paul would say is that like I expect people to read my mind. And it's true. Like even my brother, my youngest brother, he would say like sometimes he does stuff and it's like I could just tell him instead of getting upset. And to me, I feel like a lot of the times, and this is why like relationships sometimes don't even work out, is because we expect people. It's not just me. A lot of people, I've noticed it in people too. Like you expect me to read your mind. People think because we look alike, we live and breathe the same. I could give you my heart or my kidney, depending on your blood type and stuff. And we exist. We think that like we could read each other's minds. And the truth is, like if you're reflecting on yourself and you care about others and stuff, it's like some things I shouldn't have to tell you. I shouldn't have to tell you like wash your dishes. I shouldn't have to tell you that you're my boyfriend and I expect you to do this, that, and the other. I don't expect you to be dancing on girls in front of me and doing certain things. So it's not like I expect people to read my mind. I expect you to have common fucking sense. Okay? But on the flip side, there are some things that aren't so common, and you have to know when, because what works for one doesn't work for everyone. So yes, he said that. I just defended myself, as you guys heard, but I can also work on that, like speaking up and stuff, because I am actually very good at communicating. It's just like if we're close, like my brother, like we were living together, I don't need to be telling you to like clean up sometimes, help sweep, help clean the bathroom, or certain things you shouldn't have to tell people. So yeah, moving on. In my head, this is going really well, but I feel like I'm just upset that I've been eating so much sugar and my face looks puffy. It has nothing to do with anyone but myself. I'm upset at myself. So another thing that I've learned is like men can be very happy when women, like if a woman has a child for him. Like I was talking to this guy the other day, he says women don't have kids for any man, and he's right, because like women look for certain things in a man depending on who you are. As a woman, I feel like you want to date someone and have kids for someone who reflects your morals and values, and like who you could see would be a good dad, and yada yada yada. Men will also love bomb you to get pom pom, because imagine meeting a guy and you guys just start talking and he's already saying I love you, I love you. He's just trying to get some pom pom. So it's like I'm giving you guys pros and cons, so please like understand that. Now Dwayne doesn't even make the list because Dwayne is one of my ex, and I'm saying real names here because who gives a fuck. Um, I did it. Dwayne doesn't make the list because he's not here, so he clearly doesn't make the list. But Obina is a guy. He's Nigerian Igbo that I dated, and he was mean. But even when people are mean, sometimes people just don't know how to communicate in a loving manner because they don't really know how to. So he was mean. Like whenever I would be eating like snacks and stuff, he would like promote healthy eating, in a mean way by calling me fat. So, it's like you is right, but you don't have to be such a dick about it. She says she ain't fucking with me. Moving on. He used to always be nagging about me about my dressing, and it's like now as an adult, I've learned to dress for the occasion because I'm still young, so I'm gonna still show a titty or my titties. I like feeling sexy. You feel even sexier when you're eating healthier and you're working out, guys. Like, because I know what that's like. My consistency just hasn't been because of life. Sometimes life and love knocks you down, but you gotta get back up and get back to the routine. So just wait on it. In like 2 months, I'm gonna come out here, face nice and slim, body looking nice, right? It happens. You just get back on it. You get back on the horse when you fall off of it. Period. This hair just isn't doing it, but we already started, so we're gonna continue. So dressing for the occasion, learn to do that. Having nice things. He would always be like, "What's the most expensive thing you have?" I'd be like, "My education, my degree." But it's good to have nice things. It's good to save your money and buy nice things, but even more so, it's good to work on yourself. We're in the Western world. As a woman in the Western world, I know that in order for me to go from level to level to level, I have to have an education, especially somebody who studied politics and sociology. It's like you understand the system of the country, like what works, what doesn't, connections, skills, experience. All these things matter in terms of you like moving up and up. So me having a degree from the #1 university in all of Canada is just a step to everything. Mainly so just like learning as much as I can and being the best me. So it's like it's not like he was teaching me anything because like my mom always promotes healthy eating. It was just like him being repetitive. That's why I started and I said like repetition really matters. Like having somebody that checks you, even if it's not in the best way, it does help you in the long run. So, and spending wisely. So he taught me those 4 things: eating healthy, dressing for the occasion. He didn't teach me that. He talked about it a lot because he wanted me to be the Beyonce to his Jay-Z, trying to make me a woman. You get? So funny. But at the end of the day, I'ma do me. But he was necessary. You have to, this is me, you have to reflect on your life and realize that people are necessary in this journey of life. It's why we're here, to teach each other things, to help you be a better person. Okay? So he must have known, I must have been his wife in the past life, but it's like now, got me a new body, now I need some new dick. Just joking. Joe, who's my godfather, he always says that you should always make sure that every day you do something that you're proud of. Maybe today you drank a lot of water and then now you're getting into the habit of drinking more water and taking care of yourself. Maybe today you started reading on the Medium, which is going to help your brain in the long run to just like read things and really get it. Maybe you started exercising for 30 minutes a day. You do something every day that you're proud of. That's something that he taught me. I'm about to do over my eyebrows because it's just not giving. Like being born with I wasn't born with no eyebrows actually. It's just like when you draw them on all the time, I feel like you just take them away, so that now you always have to draw them on. Those who get it do, and I'm just sad that I don't really have thick, juicy eyebrows. And that's something when I see, I'm just like, I appreciate it on other people because I know I don't have it. Joe also taught me to take it one day at a time, and exercise is healthy. One thing that my godfather does to a fault is he has an estate, okay, in Grenada. It's called Town and Country Guest House. If you're ever in Grenada, tell him I sent you. Go there, have a good time. It's huge. So like rain, sun, grass. So year round, he has to use his weed eater and cut, or those ones that you push, or and he cuts the whole thing himself. And for him, that's his exercise. And I will even watch like this documentary on like centenarians are people that live to be 100 plus, and one of the main things is exercise, daily exercise. So he just taught me, like, just seeing him, he's like literally in his 70s now, very strong, and one of the things that he does on like very regularly is exercise, and he loves to have fun, especially with people much younger than him. He's the minister of enjoyment. So that's something that I learned from him. Okay, I'm a guy's girl. You learn a lot from guys. I'm gonna touch the surface of hanging out with women next to kind of see what do women teach me. You know what I mean? Because it's never a thing where I have to do the same thing for the rest of my life. Hell fucking no. If anything I'm good at is adapting. Like, now I want to hang out with bitches, and now I'm gonna hang out with bitches. But now for the majority of my life so far, I've been hanging out with men or having lots of conversations with men, and this is what I've learned from them. Okay, moving on. So the girl had to write it down. Uncle Raymond, he taught me that, like, you can't show off what's yours. It's like people like to say stuff like she's showing off. It's just something that he says, and he's just like, well, if it's mine, I worked hard for it, you can't really show it off. But it's kind of like flaunting, whatever. But he also would always make sure that, like, you have to be confident in yourself. Like, some things that, like, I remember growing up being around him, he would always teach me, like, you have to love yourself no matter what, no matter the scars that you have, no matter what. Take care of yourself, love yourself, and live in your youth. Don't be 25 trying to be 30. Be 25. You know what I mean? Show that ass, show your titties. Because this is how it goes. Like, you get older, wiser. Some people, like, look better in their 40s than they looked in their 20s, and that's just because your stability, your ability to just, like, be consistently eating well and working out and all those things just happen for you in your 40s, like, stress free. So that's a beautiful thing. So yeah, my oldest brother, Giovanni, what did he teach me? Priorities. You should always, priorities first, in terms of, like, finances, family. You know, he taught me, like, you know, you have to be loyal to your family. Like, you have to learn what to say, when not to say it, keep a secret, because he'll hold it against you. Respect. You have to be respectful to people. You have to be appreciative of what people do for you. You have to, like, if you don't, you're punished, because you can't just treat people however you want and them tolerating it, because then you're never going to change. So it's kind of like you have to give people a break, and if they really want to be in your life, they will learn how to do so, because you know what you did wrong. You know why you got let go. So one thing you will learn, I touched on this before, is, like, in the Western world, I'm from Canada. I was born here, wasn't raised here. But what you will learn is, like, when you're here, it's either, like I said, you go to school. When you go to school, that's like a debt that you have to pay. Like, everything here is about money. Okay, like, so even when you go to school, if you don't pay it for yourself, you have a loan on your back where you have to work and pay off that loan. So, and when you have an education, that means you can get a better job because, well, you went to school and you have that education. If you don't go to school, you're going to have to be working for a certain set amount of money per hour. You can go to school again and, like, get certifications and stuff that could push you up in the job that you already have. If not, like, you really just have to push yourself up based on experience, and that could take a long time. That sometimes takes you, like, 5 years for you to go from being a regular worker to a supervisor, and then another 5 for you to become a manager. it just works out so much better. Like if while you're working, you go to school so that like you can get a better job in the same field that you're already in, but just more money, more recognition because like you went to school. And who doesn't want more money, because more money means like a better stable life, right? Like I said, Western world rules. I don't make the rules, I'm just telling you about them. Moving on. So my grandfather, when he passed, he drank a lot. And why I think he drank a lot, like my grandfather was, when I say hilarious, it's like he was always him and this guy called, we used to call him Treat Me Sweet. This guy used to smoke like sometimes a pack of cigarettes a day. That's how you learn that cigarettes aren't good for you, nor is alcohol, because alcohol is what killed my grandfather. But in the end, the fat face is just it's killing me. It really is. But let's give my grandfather his recognition. He, my grandfather taught me that like as a man, if you don't have certain hobbies can be like you like spending time with friends. Hobbies can be you like gardening, you have animals that you like to take care of, you like to paint. Certain things you have to like to do. I think for my grandfather, he owned a shop till Hurricane Ivan came in Grenada and knocked it down. And then he didn't have his shop anymore. My grandmother built a bigger shop than what he had. It was like a lot of drama. My grandfather used to cheat. My grandmother was obviously upset about it. So, you know, like her building a bigger shop when his got turned down and then him having to buy stuff from the bigger shop. He must have wanted to like be running the shop, but she didn't give it to him, right? Like a lot of things sometimes stress you out when like you go from being here to being here. Sometimes you just can't handle it, right? So he drank, and then not long after my grandmother passed away, he passed away. This is like not TMI because you don't necessarily know my grandfather or my grandmother. It's just like learning from it. Like as a man, like a woman shouldn't have to tell you that you should have hobbies. Like there should be things that you like to do. If you like to garden, anything happens to your trees, you can just like plant them again. If you like to take care of animals, anything happens to your animals, you could just get them again. Like do things that match the environment in which you're in. If you like to paint, the only thing that could stop you from painting is them running out of paint in the entire world and paintbrushes. You get what I'm trying to say? Like even as a woman, like people need to have things that they like to do. Maybe you like to read, that's a hobby. Those are things that you should like to do to keep your mind occupied, because idle hands, you know the rest. So my grandfather's hobby was really like him entertaining his friends at his shop, and then his shop got destroyed, and so he declined, just put it that way, which is what happens. But this, apart from all of that, my grandfather was actually a very good driver. He used to drive the hospital ambulance for the main hospital in Grenada, and he was the best at it. Everybody would tell you that he's the best driver until he wasn't, and you can guess why. It was because of the alcohol. And then he retired. You know, sometimes it happens when you have a certain name and then like you retire or you decline. Like have you ever seen like people in decline where it's like maybe you have a progressive degenerative disease and then you go from being like your happy self to like a wheelchair. Like you're not going to be happy anymore when you can't do the things that you once loved to do. That's why it pays to take care of yourself. Pays to take good care of yourself, believe in yourself, love yourself, do what's right for you, and be a good person. So yeah, my grandfather taught me that it's very important to have hobbies and to be the best at whatever it is that you decide to do. The only way you can be the best is like to tap into your abilities, because you know what you're capable of doing. Even last night I had a dream, right? Like the dream included physics. And I remember doing very good in physics in high school. And then I'm like, in this big age now you want me to do physics again. But I wasn't stressed about it because I know once I did it before, I could do it again and maybe even better this time. That's what happens when you take care of your brain. Like the way I read every day. My favorite apps are Medium, Quora, Reddit. If you know, you know. And just from reading like a little bit every day, it just transfers into you just being able to read anything very quickly. It's habits that you improve on. Lastly, my friend Felix, he made the list of what's the name of the list? Things I've learned from having only male friends. I don't only have male friends, guys. Like I have friends from I know people from all parts of the world. But this is just it just pays. It shows that like from hanging out around different people, you learn so many things. As a Sagittarius, Gemini moon, Cancer rising, if you know, you know, again, wink wink. I just love that for me. I love being able to hang out with people, remember things about them, and those things make me happy. So Felix made the list, and he taught me the how to like I can't hang out with Felix and not have a good time. He takes great pictures. Okay, and he's a Gemini. I'm a Sagittarius. We're like 5 and 6. You know what I mean? Like I love to hang out with him. We have a good time. He he plays soccer. He's involved in like a lot of different teams, and he just loves being social. He loves being around people. That is a characteristic of a Gemini. Some Geminis. Of him. Let's just say that of him. Um, and he just lives his life. He does whatever he wants, no matter what. Some people adjust their lives based on finances, where it comes to a point where like all you care about is money, money, money. But when you're living life and like you're having fun and you're doing what you love to do, I feel like that's always the best thing. So those are things that I've learned from my boy Felix. As you're getting older, especially as a man, that's why it's very important. A lot of men are realizing that like it's so important to to be a man and to have a family and to like take care of a woman and not wait till thy kingdom come for you to start doing that, because women are the ones that are going to keep you happy. So the men that are out here trying to be gallus like the Jamaicans and trying to just be fucking Tom, Dick, Harry, Jane, Jennifer, Mary, Sarah, Patricia, Joan, Felicia, and then now you're in your 40s and you haven't been taking care of yourself, you look bad, you're on a picnic or you're picnic, and then all over the women aren't taking you on, nobody gives a fuck about you anymore. Do better. That's all that I've learned, and this was fun. So I hope someone here learned something, and I hope you are constantly reflecting on your life, doing what you love, and always striving to be a better person.